And we are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports War. And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked and excited for this.
We are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Sport. It's Barnes, it's Main Magic Mike,
Hey-yo.
It's Renee, it's Tony floating around the building, and it's Wednesday.
Dude, what a Wednesday,
Dude,
right?
A lot going on.
Yeah.
And we start out with some breaking news.
Oh, my God. Oh, I'm sorry. You got me so quick there.
The Washington Commanders have traded for quarterback Carson Wentz, giving up at least 2 third-round picks. Full terms of the trade yet to be disclosed, but they are taking on the full $28 million salary as well as a $5 million signing bonus. So the Washington Commanders get their quarterback, after starting Taylor Heineke last year after the Ryan Fitzpatrick situation.
He got hurt, though, which sucked.
Yeah, week 1 with the hip.
He was playing so well.
I really liked what he did in Miami, but I mean, it's just one of those things where I guess if you looked at the numbers for Wentz last year, it wasn't
bad,
terrible, but
it wasn't great.
In clutch situations, it was absolutely atrocious.
Yes.
And that's why they lost to the Jags. Didn't make the playoffs. But if you look at Washington, I mean, I feel like, they do have draft picks, so they could always try to draft a quarterback. And I think maybe they look at this as a 1-year experiment. But it's like with Daniel Jones. I mean, after someone's around for this long, they're either a certainty or they're not. So that's why I just question, I mean, is Wentz really going to bring Washington anything? I have to say no. I mean, but we'll see what the roster construction looks like this offseason, who they bring in the draft. I mean, I think those are all big question marks here, but I do like the trade for the Colts. Unfortunately, they had to give up a first-round draft pick for him last year. That ended up going to Philadelphia, but it's good to just unload him now. And it's going to be interesting to see who they bring in. They're another team that could be in the market for Jimmy Garoppolo. Deshaun Watson is out there. I guess a grand jury is supposed to rule on him, I believe, by the end of the week, one way or another. It does seem like he should be okay. I mean, I would imagine there's going to be some suspension from the NFL, but I do think it's going to be a situation where he will play next year and will get traded. I had mentioned to you, Mike, before the show that Chokri had texted me, saying that the Steelers are aggressively going after Watson. And we both agreed that would be a huge move for them going from Big Ben to Deshaun.
I love it. No, Deshaun Watson, dude, if you remember, right before all those things were going down about him with the girls,
yep.
Who was the number 2 youngest quarterback in the NFL that was like that everybody loved the most besides
Deshaun Watson?
Yeah. And some people, it was I feel like it was a 50-50 split at that time in that moment. Who's better between him and Kansas City?
Right. No, I think I mentioned
Mahomes.
this to you before, but there was a promo for Colin Cowherd's show where he'd say Watson was Mahomes before Mahomes. Because he had kind of burst onto the scene starting in his rookie year where Mahomes had to sit out almost a whole year.
Tony not here because of high gas prices? Question mark.
He's looking
first
at
of all
electric vehicles. Huh?
See the writing there.
Yeah,
that's like what Bulgarian text looks like.
Okay,
but I think it's Russian, so it's pretty crazy.
It just made me think of something random. Did we ever find out? With his old teacher.
No.
Okay.
We haven't found out anything. This could be the same person, Barnes.
It probably is.
Yeah,
it probably is. But it just once again, and
are they? Question for you, actually, Barnes.
Yeah.
Are the Steelers an automatic contender for the Super Bowl next season if Deshaun's there?
Yeah.
Right away.
Yeah.
Like they just jump.
But, well, the only caveat being they got to get an offensive line. I mean, last year was absolutely atrocious. You got Najee Harris. I mean, you don't want to get him beat up for a second year in a row. You need to block. So I would imagine they're going to really put their full foot forward in the drafts and free agency to improve that offensive line. But you acquired Deshaun Watson. You're giving up a lot of draft capital.
What do you think the Jets are doing? You know how yesterday we talked about a little bit how Douglas said this and that. Like, what do you think that would be? What move would that be? Is it another move for a star in the league right now? Or
so I was listening to Tiki and Tierney on the Fan this morning. Obviously Tiki Barber, the former Giant running back. And Tierney was saying, due to the fact that the Seahawks obviously yesterday traded Wilson, that the Jets should go after DK Metcalf, give them their 10th overall selection. And I absolutely love it because from Seattle's side, they just got back these draft picks. Dude. Why not have another draft pick? Metcalf's going to be tight if Drew Lock's strong on the ball. Metcalf will literally tell us if Wilson's good or not.
You know what's crazy? When he was in the draft and he was like predicted 6th overall, 6th round pick, I was like, dude, why aren't the Jets just snagging him in like the 4th or something?
Yeah.
He was a monster, and the whole worry was his back surgery in that year he had. But like, obviously, he's fine.
3 years in the league, he's gone from 7 to 10 to 12 touchdowns. They need that red zone threat.
Yeah.
I think it would be absolutely amazing, and I hope they do it because I've been saying this the last couple of years. The Jets just need to go all on offense. I mean, it's that clear. They need to go overboard, have an excess of guys. Because I mean, you can't just. They were saying on the show today, it's like you can't just say, well, if this, if that. You need to have that in front of the quarterback to make the determination. And I'm gonna go with you, even though obviously I'm skeptical about Wilson. But I would feel really good that Wilson would have a great year if Metcalf comes in.
Dude, it'd be the biggest target the Jets have had since Braylon Edwards.
Yeah. And it's just like, I don't know why, they haven't done this. And I would, they have plenty of cap space, but I would almost, because what it is Metcalf, he was actually ended up being, I think, the last pick in the second round, if I'm not mistaken. So he's got one more year left of the rookie deal. So they would have to negotiate an extension, maybe $18-20 million a year. So I feel like, you bring him in, then I would probably look to trade or release Davis, and then draft another younger wide receiver to just make sure because Davis, I think I don't know, what is he making, $11-12 million? It's just like, if you have Metcalf, if you have more, maybe you restructure Crowder, you have Barrios, and you bring someone in, that's enough. You don't need Davis. So I think that's something to keep in mind.
I love it.
And you know what else I like? So yesterday, the small note, that came out of Seattle, obviously the big thing, was that Russell Wilson was traded, but they also released longtime all-pro linebacker Bobby Wagner. And what a better guy to bring in to really become, while he is, let's see, so June, so he's turning 32 this summer. Bring him in, have him be the anchor of the defense along with CJ Mosley. And then you talk about Carl Lawson coming back, possibly drafting Thibodeau from Oregon at the number 4 pick. I mean, you're starting to really shape a defense. And I just think, he was slated to make $16 million this year. It's going to be less cost than that. He's played 16 games, 3 seasons in a row. He's had, between solo and assisted tackles, last year he had 170. So clearly the guy's an animal. You don't need to give him a 5-year contract. But I think that's the type of move. You need to have that good mix of youth and veterans. And I think that would be perfect for the Jets.
Literally, I was thinking the same thing when he got released. Like, come on over. And dude, how funny is it? I think the trade to get, what's his name? That was on the Jets. Now he's on Seattle.
Jamal Adams.
How funny is it that he left the Jets because he didn't want to be part of a rebuilding team?
And now he's part of a rebuild.
Karma?
Very much so. Very much so. We'll see what that pick this year brings us at 10. Last year, they, I think, traded down or traded up, whatever the case may be, to get Vera Tucker. Up with that second pick. So that was the first part of the trade. Let's see who they get at 10 this year. But if it's Metcalf and Tucker for Jamal Adams, I think you do that any day of the week. And I just hope, at 4 that they don't go safety. And there's a lot of good things being said about Hamilton, but I just feel like they need a pass rusher. And I see this in articles all the time. Rich Cimini saying it. The Jets have not had a consistent pass rusher since they traded away John Abraham in 2006. So,
yeah,
I mean, clearly that's way too long, to let them go. And I'm just looking at some other NFL notes here coming across actually from Tampa. Bucks likely to let Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones walk. Leonard Fournette, interesting guy for the Jets to keep an eye out for. I think I would love to have him in the mix.
Yeah, me too.
So that's someone to keep an eye out for. Colts left tackle and former Kansas City Chief Eric Fisher. He was actually the number 1 pick in the draft a few years back. Poised to hit free agency. So that's a guy, the Jets could take a look at as well. So a lot of options on the table here for sure. But it'll just be interesting to see. I think for sure Watson, will be the next major domino to fall. There's also some buzz about the Giants bringing in Mitchell Trubisky, something that, I had mentioned before. So just something to keep an eye out for as we get closer to the NFL draft on the 28th of April. But we'll keep you posted on any moves that come up. And before we get to basketball, just kind of an update here on the Major League Baseball collective bargaining agreement situation. They're still in negotiation now. And of course, you could say this, you could say that. But it does appear that we're finally making some headway, that a deal could come today and we could still have a full 162. And, me and Tony could finally rejoice. But the couple things like that they're still working on, one thing that they want to do. So kind of unlike really any other sport, their international guys aren't eligible for the draft. So right now they're free agents, but they don't like how they feel like there's been some unethical things going on, verbal agreements with 14-year-olds, trying to get money out of these guys. They'd rather have a regimented system where they're slotted, picks. So this pick makes this. There's no negotiation. That's something they would like to get in this CBA. And I think once they make some type of agreement, about that, I guess they want to have it in 2024. So there's a couple years to really kind of perfect the system. But I think once we get that, we'll finally be good to go. And I really, really, really just can't wait to see how this free agency period is going to play out. And I think the Yankees, will definitely have some opportunities to sign some guys for a lot less than they would have had there been no lockout. I think, the sense of urgency to bring people in, for the players to get guaranteed contracts. They're not holding out for as much money as they once were. So I think that's only going to play to their advantage. And I saw a note on Sports Edge as well. I had mentioned earlier that Kikuchi, the pitcher from the Seattle Mariners, who's a free agent, came over from Japan. The Mets have been hot on him, but supposedly the Yankees, before the lockout, were high on him as well. And, former Chicago White Sox Carlos Rodon. So he did have a 2.37 ERA for the Sox last year. So that's a guy, at 29 years old to keep an eye out for. We know the Yankees, they can never have too much pitching. So a lot of moves to be made, but I think we're finally getting to that point, and it's amazing that we're at this point. And I love all the talk about these fans not coming back. That's thing, I know we talked about it yesterday, but I just can't wait to put all that to rest. And it's like the thing that I just love kind of to close out this point. I know you agree with this, Michael. The reason why people who say they're not coming back, they're not going to watch this year, the reason why they're even saying that in the first place is because they have so much interest in the game. If they didn't care, they wouldn't even be talking about it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's seeing right through it, of course. So that's what we got for football, for baseball. Anything else that comes across, we'll give it to you. But for now, let's go to the world of the National Basketball Association.
The Bulls go! LeBron James at the buzzer! He banks in the three! And the Lakers win the game!
right. So another night in the NBA last night. But one thing that, really, jumps off out on the page, other than Will Ferrell suiting up last night, we know we saw that between the Golden State Warriors and the Clippers. But we have to start in Charlotte, maybe with MJ in attendance. Who knows? He likes to hide a lot. But Kyrie Irving, 50 points last night in a 132-121 victory over the Charlotte Hornets, in a game that we have not seen from Kyrie in quite some time. Obviously, a big part of that not being able to play the first half of this season, and then only in away games currently. So he's not on the floor on a nightly basis, but he really lit it up. It reminded me of 2016 Kyrie, 50 points, 6 assists, 11 of 13 at the line, 9 of 12 from three-point range, a ridiculous 75% on 12 attempts, 15 of 19 overall from the floor, really willing his team to victory. How much did this surprise you, Michael?
Yeah, I mean, the efficiency and the 50 points, the combo, it did.
And I mean, what do you think? I mean, you look at the box score. I mean, Durant kind of didn't do much at 40 minutes.
But he let him do
He
it.
set him up, 7 assists as well. Actually, Drummond, the second leading scorer, 20 points, 14 boards, 2 blocks. But I mean, obviously, sooner than later, you would think. I mean, who knows? But that Simmons is going to be coming in the mix. I mean, what do you think about Brooklyn? I mean, they've had a terrible stretch here, but obviously a lot of that without Durant, Kyrie not playing. You're going to get Simmons, like I said. I mean, what do you think about them moving forward here?
I mean, you definitely don't want to face them in the playoffs, especially like with Kyrie and KD alone. They could just win any game.
And you know what's funny? Even though there's some talk before we get to the playoffs that rule in New York City will be lifted, that Kyrie can play, home games, but
it's just, dude, they only have 5 games. If Ben Simmons doesn't play tomorrow, like he's predicted not to, there's going to be 5 technically games that they'll play where it's Simmons, KD, and Kyrie.
And Kyrie can play.
Little.
But does this almost play to their advantage? I mean, I know
that teams don't know how they play that.
Well, but the fact that if we get a 7-game series, that Kyrie will be able to play game 7 being a lower seed.
Yeah.
Like it's almost intentional, or that's pushing it.
Not intentional, but like, dude, you know how a lot of teams are, especially these older vet guys that are stars. Like they really just want to play in the playoffs. Like,
right.
Like they just want to get to the playoffs because they know how long the season is,
in your eyes, because it just, I know we're just in this society, other than football, everybody wants to rush through these seasons, playoffs, and not really put too much emphasis on these individual games. Is there anything we can do to fix this? When it comes to the NBA specifically?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Honestly, maybe I don't know. Maybe if there was if the G League was better, and like the championship team of the G League plays the lowest ranked team in the NBA, and if they beat them, they get to come in. They get
That would be insane. But I guess it just because of the ownership is. Imagine the worth of a team getting relegated, how much it would fall, and then everyone would be bugging.
I know.
It would be funny to see. It would be funny to see for sure. But
you see everybody playing their ass off all season.
Yeah. And speaking of playing their ass off, how about Darius Garland last night? Cavs 127, Pacers 124, 41 points, including 13 assists. We had mentioned the Cavs struggling. So, I mean, of course, Indiana, they do have Halliburton now, but obviously this season, I mean, well under 500, 23 games under 500. But are you big on him, Garland? Or
I think he's a great point guard, dude. Like he really knows how to be a point guard, score when to score and pass when to pass.
So obviously him really carrying the load, with Sexton being out, as well as LeVert. So I still think despite their struggles here, mid to 3/4 way through this season, I think the Cavs are going to be very dangerous down the stretch. So I think it was big for them to get a win. Mobley, 22 points, 12 boards, 5 steals. I mean, he could do anything.
He's a great player.
Great all-around player. Halliburton did have 25 though, so hopefully this coming off season, the Pacers will kind of give him more to work with surrounding him. We had the Suns 102.99. So I almost got my wish there with that upset, but just quite not enough for Orlando. And you look at this, I mean, DeAndre Ayton all over the boards, 21 points, 19 boards. So the Suns, avoid an embarrassing loss there. We saw the Grizzlies all over the Pelicans, 132-111. Ja with another, standard 24, 8 and 8. He's really, in recent memory, I think he's up there with making the biggest leap one season to the next. I think, we always held him in high regard. And already this year, it seems like he's gone from a guy that was a borderline all-star to as a guy that we regularly will consider in the MVP conversation going forward.
Oh, 100%.
What he's done for them, 45 wins this year for the Grizzlies. Pelicans, obviously Zionless. CJ has looked good with them. He had 32 and 11 last night. So be interesting to see, what players from the Knicks they get for Zion, right?
Dude, we got a whole list.
But I think I haven't asked you this. What's your strategy for keeping Zion under 300 once he becomes a Knick?
Dude, he's going to just be under.
But what about Arthur Ave?
Dude, no. He doesn't want to be in New Orleans, dude.
He
hates it there. You're going to see the fat suit come off.
All right. I hope so.
I mean, not really, because he doesn't. I feel like he just really is actually fat right now and doesn't care, right? And then he'll lose the weight.
Right. He'll be motivated.
He's not like James Harden, who actually has a fat suit.
But I still am just thinking about this. I mean, you, in your honest opinion here with this Zion acquisition for the Knicks, I mean, you really think that the Pelicans, I mean, who like, I know obviously there'll be some draft picks, but player-wise, Julius and who else does this trade center around?
Probably, I'm not gonna lie, Obi will be thrown in there. Maybe even Quickly will be thrown in there, to be honest.
Grimes as well.
Either one of those, like flip-flop one of those dudes, right?
Yeah.
Keep the other, and then like you said, picks. Yeah, and I think that's a good fucking package.
So they're gonna trade like 4 guys at least, probably with 3, maybe 2 or 3 first rounders.
Let's not go overboard. Relax.
But
2.
I think if you were on the command board right now,
and they were like,
the trade's going through 3 first, those guys you just sign off on
right now.
Get them in town.
Yes.
Worry about the rest later.
Yes.
Yeah. So that would be an exciting. I really, really want to see that happen.
I know
that'll be awesome just to see Barrett and Zion back together.
I know. And get our boys in there.
Oh,
let's get Jackson and Van Gundy as coaches.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Like, let's fire the city.
Now, what if you could only have one of them because they don't want
Mark.
to go? Yeah.
Jeff had his turn.
Yeah.
Like,
dude,
that's just that.
I really think he would like. Mark Jackson would get the Garden going.
I know. And he's so good with the press, and he's so good with player development.
Do you know anything in terms of his relationship with Dolan? Have you heard anything about that?
I could look into it.
But I mean, at least we haven't heard any negative things.
Nothing since Golden State, dude. Think about it.
Yeah. He's just been focusing on his broadcasting job. So,
which he's amazing at.
He is. So hopefully we see that. The 2 other games from last night, Bucks all over the Thunder. Kind of like I thought. They didn't quite get my 150, but 142-115. Giannis 39, 7-7. Another huge effort for him. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, while the Thunder might be 25 games under 500, he's an animal. 33, 8, and 14. So you think about them in the
future. He's unstoppable, dude. Jesus.
I mean, but
that just shows like they can't guard him because of the 14 assists and like.
But where
top 5.
No, and I agree with that. But I'm just saying in terms of making this team a contender, what type of guy
they need? A big or like another wing player that's like a stud scorer. But I would go big, pair big with him.
I'm just looking at the rest of the team here. I mean, really,
dude, they're trash. You
think Giddey will be good or no?
Like a good role player, yeah.
Yeah.
Like Giddey reminds me of Rubio, bro. Like a lot of hype. Rubio was supposed to be fucking Pete Maravich, dude.
He was.
Do you remember?
Yeah, and he sat out for 2 years.
Yeah, and there's this whole thing, and then like he had Luka Doncic's career before Luka, and so I'm not fool me once.
Yeah,
shame on me.
You definitely hit it on the head there, but you really want to see him in the playoffs, see him because he could be
Shea?
an MVP. Yeah,
I know,
yeah,
man.
one of these days for
He
sure.
kind of reminds me of Lillard almost, like that kind of a player.
What if they brought in Lillard?
No. I hate pairing small guards, dude.
But isn't Alexander really tall enough to be a shooting guard though?
Yeah, but he's a bum, dude.
Yeah.
He plays like he's gonna have that style of play. You're gonna see him playing the exact same way in 10 years.
Yeah.
He's not gonna grow.
Yeah.
He's just gonna hover with 15 and 5 or so, or 10 and 7 or something. You know?
Yeah.
He's not like he's not LaMelo Ball, for example. Like LaMelo, people were comparing this dude.
Gilgeous Alexander.
No. Not him. The other one.
Giddy.
Giddy.
Oh,
I'm talking about Giddy.
Yeah. No. Okay.
No,
I figured
that was all Giddy.
Okay.
I'm talking about.
You're giddy about it.
Yeah, exactly. And they were comparing him to LaMelo Ball, dude. It's like
enough is enough.
Yeah, like let's relax.
So we'll see what happens there, but I definitely think too. I mean, big win for the Bucks. I think they're in position to really have a chance to defend their title in the NBA Finals. Obviously, a long way between now and then. Warriors finally win a game, 112-97 over the Clippers. Clay, 20 points, but only 9 of 23 from the floor, 2 of 9 from 3-point range. Really has not honed in. I think before the game, I saw he was shooting about 37% from 3. So obviously that's gone down a little bit. Curry had one of his games where he just didn't have it. 35 minutes, only 15 points. But Jonathan Kuminga has had some big games for the Warriors this year. 21 points, 6 rebounds.
People forget they got him.
He was the 3rd overall pick.
Yeah.
So that's a guy who they really, could build a team around. So I think for them this season, the biggest question mark, I don't care about how good Draymond looks when he comes back, is what version of Klay Thompson will be there come playoff time. I think that's the biggest thing. And I think from what we've seen so far, I think it's just the hype about them returning to winning a championship this year might be a little premature. I think next year will be their best shot. I think this year it's just about getting everyone accustomed to playing, with one another. But obviously, of course, time will tell there. And then, looking ahead, we have some games tonight. We might as well give it the old frenzy, Michael.
We shall. All right. The first game, we have the hot Boston Celtics versus the Charlotte Hornets, who just got smacked.
Back to back.
Yeah.
People are tight. LaMelo, big stage here. 101-100. Game-winning fadeaway jumper in Tatum's eye.
See, I'll even just reverse that. And I'm going to give I'm going to do 48 points for Tatum.
Wow. After 54.
Yeah, no, dude, literally, he's playing like he did right before the bubble. And if you remember who was the best player in the league for 2 months before the bubble, it was Tatum.
You're right.
All right, Chicago and Detroit. I know who you're going to go here.
Yeah, Chicago all day. I'm going to say 130 to 110.
In the next game, I'll go with you too. Next game, because I just want to get to the next game.
Yeah.
Miami. Did you see Oladipo is back?
Yes.
Dude, that's scary. You forget the Heat even had him.
Yeah. I don't know what it is with them. I see it, but yet I don't know. I just think the peak of where they're going to be was in the NBA Finals a couple of years ago. I think they're a great team. Maybe you know what it is? I think you hold Butler in a little higher regard than I do.
Yeah, because you got to remember, it's not just about scoring. You know, he's
defensively,
everything, just his presence,
tenacity,
just being on the court, him being a teammate to those guys is just it's above a lot of other dudes in the league.
And I will say, obviously he's had a great year. Kyle Lowry has actually played pretty decent. Only 13 points a game, but he does have 7.8 assists. His presence out there, I think, is big. Not to mention all the shooters they have, whether it be Robinson, obviously Butler shoots a little bit, but Harrow is big for them as well. But I do think they're in the upper tier of the East, but I just think the Bucks, the Bulls, and possibly the Nets, I feel like have a better shot to win the East than they do. But I guess obviously we'll see. But as far as this matchup, taking a look here, And I think Booker was in protocol. I guess Cam Johnson is out. I just wanted to see if he's playing because that kind of makes a big determination as far as who's going to play this game. But I don't see anything saying that he's not. So I'm going to just make the assumption that he's in. So that being said, I still think because Chris Paul's out, Sun's not operating at full strength without Cam Johnson as well. Give me the Heat here. Very close, classic game. 110, 108. And I think we're going to go Hero at the buzzer for 3.
I love it, dude. I'll go with that too. Atlanta versus Milwaukee.
Milwaukee back-to-back. Atlanta kind of not that great this year. 200, 500. Does Milwaukee rest somebody? So as high as I am on Milwaukee, I think, either guys rest or they kind of just take it easy tonight. I think Trey's tight. He hasn't, as far as the team hasn't taken that next step forward. I think this is a big game for him. He's seen all these guys dropping 50 points. He'll have 50 to go along with 12 assists in a 115-108 victory over the Bucks.
All right, love it. All right, next game, Lakers versus Houston.
LeBron, coming off the 56-point game, seeing it in person, the 3 straight 3-pointers, the chalk toss in the air and all, against a depleted Houston Rockets team, a Lakers team full of desperation. I don't think he'll have 56 tonight, but I think he'll have 36, 15, and 12. And Russ, being back in Houston, he's tight. They only gave him 1 year there. I think he'll actually have a good game. He'll finally not shoot and just drive and have 20 points and 10 assists in a Lakers victory, 118-105.
Wow. Okay, cool. Oklahoma City versus Minnesota.
Minnesota running away. I'm going to say 135-98. Cat 20-20.
Wow. Nice. I love it. Pelicans versus Orlando.
Orlando almost had it last night. We'll get it tonight on the road. Wendell Carter and Mo Bamba combining for 60 points in a 107-95 victory over the Pelicans.
Love it. Knicks versus Dallas.
Knicks, 2 in a row. Randall with 46 last game.
Yeah.
He's riled. And I think they sneak one in here. Finally, Evan Fournier, $18 million contract and all, will actually have a respectable game to go along with Randall, to go along with Barrett. Knicks 128, Mavericks 120.
Wow.
And the Knicks go for 3 in a row.
All right. Next game, Toronto and San Antonio.
Toronto all over San Antonio. I'm going to say 111-88 as Pop inches closer to retirement.
It didn't look like that against the Lakers, but anyway.
Yeah, because LeBron was.
Oh, yeah. Portland versus Utah.
Look ahead spot for Utah. 18, Michael. 18-point favorites here.
Wow.
These are the type of games, though. Oh,
yep.
It's a lock. No, it's not a lock. How about Josh Hart, 35 points tonight?
Fuck that. Anthony Simmons, too. Both of them. Yeah. 7 threes apiece. Combined for 80.
Blazers, 110. Jazz, 108. And Simons will have the game-winning 3-pointer. Another buzzer beater game here.
Yes. Denver versus Sacramento.
Denver versus Sacramento. I think Sabonis actually just got suspended for contact with the ref. The Kings, of course, once again, 19 games under 500 here. Jokic primed for a big game. Would have liked to see him battle Sabonis. But I think he'll have 38 points, 17 rebounds in a 130-117 victory over the Kings.
I love it. And the last games, the Washington Wizards versus the Clippers.
Your guy, Kristaps Porzingis, finally made his debut in Washington the other day. He's tight. Good spot here against the Clippers. Washington obviously been scuffling. I think Porzingis, 30 points, 15 boards, 6 3-pointers in a 114-95 victory over the Clippers.
Nice.
That is the NBA. And one topic here before we get to hockey, I just wanted to bring in here this week. The PGA Tour has its flagship event, best non-major tournament of the year, the Players Championship, a very prestigious event. Actually has the highest purse out of any tournament. I think it's $20 million combined with all the golfers. Last place in the tournament makes 43 grand. So obviously, a lot on the line. And of course, it will return to the one place that always hosts it, TPC Sawgrass. And of course, it's known for that island green on 17. We've seen a lot of tournaments been won and lost on that hole. Balls that look like they're center of the green, rolling off. So, of course, star-studded field minus Phil and DeChambeau. Obviously, coincidental. I mean, DeChambeau claims he has an injury. And then Phil, is pretty much making it known, that he's not in the tournament just because, all he needs a rest from golf after all of the controversy surrounding him and that rumored Saudi league. So, you understand that, of course. But just looking at this field, it's just every single big name is there. It's one of those things where it's so hard to pick someone. I believe last year we had Justin Thomas win. Of course, Patrick Cantley, Colin Morikawa, Hideki Matsuyama, some of the big names. Obviously, Scotty Scheffler has won a couple tournaments of recent. So there's so many places to go. And this is an event where we've seen it both ways. We've seen stars dominate. And then, we've had years where guys that we weren't, necessarily expecting to win the tournament end up on top. So a lot of things, really to keep in mind. So, picking a winner, this is one where it's not as easy as some other tournaments are. But, we'll give it our best shot here. So that being said, I just have a feeling he's been, in my mind, the most consistent, the golfer with the most potential in his early to mid 20s. I have to go with Colin Morikawa, the two-time major champion. It just seems like he rises to the occasion in these big events, and he just has that tenacity that we haven't seen out of a young golfer since Tiger Woods. So I do think at the end of the day, he is the one hoisting the trophy, winning the Players Championship as we inch closer to Augusta. But this is a great event. I'm really, really looking forward to watching it over the weekend. Coverage will start tomorrow and, obviously continue on through Sunday. So definitely check that one out. The Players Championship at TPC Sawgrass. Hoping to get out there one of these days. But for now, let's go to the world of the National Hockey League.
In they come. Evans, what a save by Vasilevsky. Are you kidding me? McAvoy, Frederick, did you get the license plate number on that truck? McDavid, beautiful. You just knew that Connor McDavid was going to make a statement. What a goal.
All right. So let's just say, last night might have been the craziest night in the National Hockey League that I've ever seen since I started watching. Upsets up and down the board. And just to give an update in terms of me and Tony here, coming into yesterday, we both were knotted up at 13-11. But after yesterday, I went 1-2, and Tony, just taking a look here, goes
0-5 or whatever.
Wait, did he actually go 0-3?
I think he went 1-3 or
I think 1-2. Did the
1-2.
Ducks win? No, he went 0-3. Okay, so actually I pick up a game there. So updating the standings here, that'll bring me to 14-13 and drop Tony to 13-14. So I regain that 1-game lead from a few weeks ago as we inch closer to our April 1st matchup, the Rangers and the Islanders. But speaking of the Rangers, very disappointing result last night. 5-2. They fall to the Minnesota Wild in Minnesota. Georgiev getting the start, and like he has in the past games, I mean, just really not keeping the Rangers in the game, just letting up too many shots. And you let up 2 goals early. The Rangers come back to tie it at 2, but then they let up 3 more goals and then have a scoreless third period. And that's how we got to 5-2. And, Cam Talbot, obviously the former New York Ranger, has had a nice season, but still, you got to get more than 2 goals. I mean, if they had scored 3 or 4, I think more of this would be on Georgiev. Not to say that I just think, I don't know if he needs to go down to the AHL, but his performance has been atrocious. It's like circle them for a loss when Shesterkin's out of the lineup. 5 goals is just too much, unfortunately, for the Rangers. But, still 36-16-5 this season. So well ahead of most of the pack when it comes to the Eastern Conference. So I think they'll be just fine, but obviously a sour note last night. But really 2 things that stood out to me here from last night, other than that, was the fact that Michael's New Jersey Devils, with a 5-3 victory over the best team in the National Hockey League, the Colorado Avalanche. And Colorado was actually up 3-0 in this one, letting up 5 straight goals. Hughes did not score, but he did have 2 assists. And the Devils, have beaten the Blues recently as well. So despite being 10 under 500, that was a huge storyline. But Colorado, despite the loss, still 29 games over 500. So they'll be just fine. But the big thing that stands out, and I understand, listen, Detroit, the goaltender situation, being 3 games under 500 as a team, they're not playing that well this season, but 9 goals for the Coyotes, 9 coming into this game, only 16 wins on the season. They pick up their 17th. 3 in the first, 4 in the second, 2 in the third. They've beaten the Avalanche twice this season. That's why sometimes hockey, just doesn't make any sense. But stuff like that happens. Senators beating the Blues, another surprise. How about the Flyers over the Golden Knights? The Jets beating Tampa Bay with Vasilevsky in goal. Really just surprises up and down the board. In a night, we might not see another night like that till next season, but it was just quite the surprise as far as hockey's concerned. And, unfortunately, I wish tonight there would be more matchups, especially when it comes to me and to Tony in terms of who we're selecting. But unfortunately for tonight, there are only 2 games solely on national television on TNT. We get the doubleheader, 8:00. We got the Caps. We got the Oilers. Second half of the doubleheader, 10:30 on TNT. Tony's Canadiens visiting the Vancouver Canucks. So that one might not be as entertaining, but I do like the thought of a Capitals Oilers matchup here. A lot of firepower. And as Tony slides in here, I was just updating the audience. So I went 1-2 last night. You pulled an 0-3. So I have the 1-game lead now, 14-13 versus 13-14. Only 2 games tonight, so not much an opportunity here for us. And I was kind of thinking this on my way over to the show. Is this one of those where since there's only 2, we go heads up? We go heads up with the 1, 2, 3, say it type of situation, or would you rather just go 1-1 and then we'll get back at it tomorrow with some?
I say
some
we
more
go heads
volume.
up, dude. Let's switch things up, man.
Okay.
Let's shake it up.
And
dude.
I'm just taking a quick, a lot of games tomorrow, almost as many as we had last night.
Of course.
But real quick, because I kind of just said the whole splurt on Gorgiev and lack of offense last night when it comes to the Rangers. But I mean, what the hell was that?
Look, dude. I mean, what the hell was that, Tony? I mean, hey, look. Minnesota, we talked about them being a very, obviously really good team, but kind of struggling as of late. And what the Rangers need to do is come out pretty hot out of the gate, hot offense, get those first couple goals. But it was the exact opposite of that, It was Ryan Hartman first for Minnesota, and then Eriksson, not too far behind him, putting the Minnesota up 2-0. And, a dangerous team like Minnesota, it's tough, dude. I mean, it seemed like the Rangers were trying to do that. They were trying to get their offense going early, but they seemed to be maybe a little bit overzealous. They had some bad turnovers. We saw Adam Fox fumble some pucks at the blue line in the offensive zone, some neutral zone turnovers as well. So it seems like they had that mentality, but they just weren't executing well enough. And then I don't know. You can't blame Georgiev a lot about the goals he gave up, because it was couple breakaways. There was a lot of mismatches, 2-on-1s and stuff like that. And the Wild are a highly offensive team. You saw some life from the Rangers. I mean, you saw Zibanejad pretty much pickpocket Zuccarello for his goal, and it was tough. It looked like they were kind of coming back in that second period, but then no. It was the start of the second period was good because they scored twice.
Yeah.
And then
that part was great. But see, the thing is, Tony, I understand, okay? Like, you can't put everything on Gorgiev, but at the same time, I mean, I read to you the recent games that he's played. I mean, if you're the guy that's in net, all the games where you're giving up 5 goals, I mean, a bunch of that has to fall on you.
No, I mean, you're not wrong. But, I mean, I think there was a couple times where Georgiev clearly, I think he tried to guess glove side, I think on Foligno's goal, and just totally botched it, But, I mean, again, it's tough because he hasn't played a lot, and then all of a sudden you're in between the pipes between a roaring Minnesota Wild's offense. It can be a little intimidating, I'm sure, for a goalie, and of course your defense wasn't really doing anything for you.
Yeah,
which was tough. It was a tough spot for Georgiev to be put in. I would imagine he's about the bounce back life, though.
I mean, but what is it? 5 straight games he's lost starting. I honestly, I know I'm almost. Taking it over the top a little bit, but I almost want to just ship him out right now.
No.
I swear to God.
Trade value, not good.
Trade value, not good, but I just don't feel. I guess playoffs. I mean, he's not going to start anyway, right?
In the playoffs?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean for another team if he was traded,
or
are you saying for the Rangers?
Like they don't the starter starts all the games.
Oh yeah,
regardless.
The playoffs. Yeah.
And is it every other day or is there back-to-back games
for the playoffs?
Yeah,
every other day.
Every other day.
Yeah.
Okay. But also I don't know. Just God forbid, come the end of the season or playoffs, if Shesterkin gets hurt, I just feel like they're done with Gorgiev. That's I just no confidence. I just don't. I mean, and the crazy part is he had some good games earlier this year. With Shesterkin, what was it, a concussion he had when we were watching the Colony for Michael's birthday a couple months ago?
It was a great time, Michael.
Great time, couple pies, couple beers. But I don't know. I just don't have any confidence that he could win any game. So it's just like, why?
That's ridiculous. Win any game?
I mean, have you seen him recently?
Yeah, but there's not been a lot of him recently. Wait, listen. He's going to get a few more reps in, I'm sure. They're going to want to get him reps in just in case that scenario happens in the playoffs, God forbid. But I'm telling you, he's going to be bouncing back, dude. He's a really good goalie. He's strong. He's smart on the ice. And, it was last couple of years, I mean, the split between him starting and Shesterkin starting was like 60-40.
Right. But I don't think I think it should be 80-20 at the minimum.
No, yeah. I mean, at this point, Shesterkin is the best goalie in the league.
Yeah.
But hey, dude, Georgiev, I mean, there are way worse goalies out there. And if you ship him off now and then Shesterkin does get hurt and you put in some schmo from UConn.
No, I wouldn't go schmo from UConn. I would pick up Fleury.
Is that your answer? I would pick up Fleury.
Possibly. I mean, I know this sounds crazy. I would feel more comfortable with Skinner in net from the Oilers.
That's a little ridiculous.
And then I know you could attest to this though. Despite what you're saying, I know that you would agree with me on this. If he were to start tomorrow in St. Louis, I mean, I think they would lose 7-2.
Talking about
Georgiev,
Georgiev?
yeah.
No.
St. Louis losing again last night
I know that was
to
bad.
the Senators, bro.
To
After
your
losing-
demise, dude.
What happened?
Just didn't have it, dude. Senators came out hot. I'll tell you.
I just don't want to hear it with
Dude,
the
it's
Senators.
one of those, like the first goal of the game they had, and then second period they had a goal, third period, a goal, and then an empty netter.
Yeah. So, Rangers will
Who's only had
return.
22 shots on goal.
But see, I hate this spot for the Rangers now because we know, whatever we want to say about anything. I mean, the Blues are freaking due, and they're going to play them tomorrow in St. Louis. Just
Doesn't
saying,
matter, dude.
But Shesterkin, obviously, all confidence in him.
Shesterkin.
How surprised are you that he's ascended to this level?
I don't know. I guess I'm not really crazy surprised. When we knew how good he was, we knew he was only going to get better from what he was doing the past couple of years. This good though. I mean, yes, I guess I'm a little surprised, but not crazy surprised.
Yeah, I mean, but I think he's easily can be way better than Hank already. Obviously, he's got to have a prolonged career.
Right. They're saying his numbers, if they're on track as the same right now, he is going to be.
Yeah. So, obviously, a lot of time between now and then. But we mentioned, the 2 games tonight. So, start the first one, Tony. Capitals and Oilers here. Edmonton coming in -135.
That's crazy.
Home favorites. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they haven't looked great, but neither have the Capitals. And I think on the road, especially, they haven't looked great, the Capitals. So that's kind of why Edmonton gets the edge here. But let's see what we got. 1, 2, and 3.
Caps.
Oilers. All right.
Let's go, baby.
Gotta mark it down.
Like that, Michael? Dude, I don't know. Caps. They just beat Calgary on the road, 5-4. And then they beat Seattle at home. They beat Carolina at home, shut them out actually. So I don't know. But again, talk about a team who's due. Oilers, they've been due for the past 3 fucking months. So it's like, dude, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
it could go either way. Really, this game. These are tough games. These 2 games are tough.
I've really, and it's disappointing as I've been in the Oilers. I just feel like the regard that I had for Washington earlier this season versus where I am with them now. I just feel like they're just
lower?
Yeah.
Really,
I feel like they're just so vulnerable. And I know, I mean, you're talking about the Oilers, but it's like, I don't know. I think despite last few games maybe struggling a little bit, I think Kane is so big for that offense. And I know Smith being out hurts, but I think that almost makes Koskinen play better because he's caught a lot of slack.
Yeah, no, yeah, I think you're right. I'd say that's pretty on point there. But Washington, I don't know. I feel like they're kind of picking up their speed again.
Yeah. I mean, give me the Rangers in a sweep if they play them, though. Just throwing it out there. Have Georgiev start the games. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, God, dude.
It's not a Gorgie game, dude.
No. Those games would not be Georgiev.
The other game, 10:30 TNT. Canadiens at the Canucks at JT Miller with the 41 assists, the 63 points. Vancouver coming in -220 here on the money line. So of course, I mean, they're pretty good favorites here. However, we've seen the Canadiens have some good games, especially recently, winning 4 or 5, but so have the Canucks. Last 2 games being Toronto and the Islanders, and did lose to the Devils, but they did beat the Rangers. And then you look at the Canadiens, Edmonton, Calgary win, lost to Winnipeg, but beat Ottawa and Buffalo. So kind of, looking at strength of victory, you would say the Canucks are the better team. But I just feel like it's one of those things where, especially after what we saw last night with all these upsets, that we're going to have a game here where the Canadiens have a pretty good shot. No?
Yeah, I would say so, dude. And it's funny, they're won 4 of the last 5 games. They're averaging probably around 34, 35 shots on goal here in these last 5 games, which is really impressive for them. Of course, they have a couple injuries, it seems. Jonathan Drouin is on the IR. Jeff Petrie, Jake Evans, Joel Edmondson, Jake Allen, of course, 2 on the IR. We knew that. So it should be pretty interesting to see what happens. I don't know, their goaltending is I think going to be the biggest question for them.
Montembeau.
I'm trying to see like what I should look up to see his stats the last few games, honestly. Because right now he's 6-11,
3.6.
He has a shutout, but 3.6 goals against on average, dude. Not good. Let's see. Obviously, he played in that Saturday win against Edmonton. But then he played it in that loss against Winnipeg before that, where they gave up like 8 goals, 8-4. They lost. So yeah, dude, I don't know. Obviously he's been starting a while since Jake Allen's been hurt, but I feel like he's kind of coming to his own a little bit. I don't know, dude. I think it's gonna be a big toss up here for him. Young boy, 25.
Yeah, I mean, time will tell. But that being said, Tony, the old 1, 2, and 3 Canucks. Wow.
Yeah, dude.
I thought I was tricking you with the Canadiens.
No, you don't trick me.
Wait, I think deep down you thought I was going Canadiens.
I was going Canadiens, honestly, until I convinced myself right now to go to Canucks. Just because I see the Canadiens maybe pulling it off, but I don't know, dude. Their goaltending,
they're just a dumpster fire, despite winning 4 out of 5.
I know.
It's been a brutal year.
I'm gonna see who's starting. Honestly, maybe I'll change my pick.
Wow,
Honestly,
I didn't know we allow that type of thing.
Michael, can we allow that?
Yes, but after the show, no.
After the show, no, has to be doing the show. Demko has been confirmed, obviously, for the Canucks, dude.
Demko has actually had a good year.
Yeah, he is. Have a decent year, dude. As of late, too. I feel like his overall numbers, I think 2.5 goals against. 917 save percentage, dude. Yeah.
Why not?
Wait, you want me to switch, dude? I can switch over the Canadiens.
No. Set in stone. Can't change it.
Up.
All
right, dude.
Really, the one other thing I just wanted to talk about is, I mentioned it before you were here, but with the MLB, the negotiations, it seems like as a football analogy, maybe we're at the 10-yard line, possibly second and goal, maybe a little play action pass, but we're close. But there's a lot of points of contention about the international draft. I think that's the big sticking point. They're trying to leverage taking away that qualifying offer, but it seems like that's kind of the last big item that needs to be addressed before we can finally sign. But I don't know. I think I would almost guarantee that this deal is signed this week, and I hope that by the time we're here tomorrow that it's signed.
Really? Ideally, yeah, right. But I would say by the end of this week is pretty probable.
I think we get the full 162. Manfred is just trying to stick out his chest. They all want the 162 for the TV money,
yeah, they do.
It's such a joke.
I know it's tough. When he was saying that, I was thinking that to myself too. Like, don't they want the full season?
Oh my god! It's just because the reason why he's honestly the biggest rat is because he before this was a full-time lawyer. You know what I mean? So it's always the technicalities, Rob. That's what you're looking for.
I know. It's disgusting, honestly.
But it seems like we're finally getting there. I don't know if you saw this, but Mets might have some competition for Kikuchi. Yankees were interested before, as well as Rodon. I would like to see Rodon in New York. 29 years old.
Yeah.
2.6 ERA last year.
Was it really that low?
Yeah.
Wow. Dude.
I didn't realize that myself.
Yeah.
But I can't wait till we're here. The free agent frenzy that will be once this lockout is over.
Oh my God. It's gonna be crazy, dude. Madness.
How disappointed would you be if Chris Bryant doesn't make his way to the Mets?
I'd be very disappointed.
Like you're kind of like locking that in right now. Yeah.
It has to happen. Who's playing third base?
JD Martinez.
Huh?
No, I'm just kidding.
Cano, third base.
Dude, why not?
Yeah, I guess so.
Cano, I'm telling you.
In the hot corner?
Possible comeback player of the year. Depending on if he could be a DH.
Yeah.
I don't know.
DH, yeah, I can see that, but I don't think he's playing the field very well.
But I think the power might not be there, but I could see him hitting 30, 40 doubles. Honestly, hitting 310.
Yeah,
I mean, this day and age. And I tell me you're not really excited. I know maybe you didn't necessarily agree with this, but it looks like the shift is going to be banned. I mean, just what that's going to do to these, pool hitters.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot more hitting, a lot more Runners on base, a lot more scoring.
So I think it's like baseball's gonna be back, dude. Right? No,
I guess.
just so you're not that excited about it.
I mean, honestly, I guess at this point, dude, I'm sort of indifferent towards it, I suppose.
I mean, but you really enjoy seeing the second baseman in right field.
I think it's kind of cool.
Michael, second base, right field. What's your thoughts?
Absolutely trash.
Hit it
Yeah.
where they ain't, dude.
Hit it where they ain't, but they're not. So it's like
I know they're not.
But so you want to put it on them, but at the same time, so you just want to keep seeing strikeouts and ground outs and guys hitting stuff that should be doubles as a ground out because the defense has some crazy alignment. Like you enjoy seeing that. You want to see guys hitting 190, 210, striking out 200 times, not getting the ball out of the infield. You want to see that.
Yeah.
Unbelievable to me.
No, I think it's interesting, honestly. I think the whole shift thing is a different aspect to the defense, obviously, and I find it extremely cool.
What do you think about the pitch clock?
No, I hate that.
You wouldn't want to see the average games go under 3 hours?
No. I don't care that much. I'm
But
happy
the old
to sit there.
footage, you haven't seen the videos. The guys, I mean, it looks like they're simulating the game. Like it's moving so much quicker. Like you want the Chuck Knobloch with the batting gloves. And,
Right.
And,
If you have
Garcia
to.
Parra.
You should be comfortable out there. Take your time.
I don't know, man.
Pitch clock, what do you want? 30 seconds?
Yeah, I mean, I guess technically too. I mean, we don't need a necessarily pitch clock, but if there was just some way to police where these guys can't just take forever. I mean, you remember the Steve Traxel days? They weren't that long ago.
Right. But I mean, like, all right, so you're implementing maybe like a some type of timer on the pitcher, right?
Yeah.
What happens when he throws off the first base? Try and pick someone off. Is it reset?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe like kind of like NBA, like if the team that shot it gets the ball back half reset.
Jesus.
Or it resets to 15, Mike. The shot clock 24 resets to 15.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So guess 30 reset to 20.
Yeah. All right.
You allow it.
I'll try it, I guess, maybe for a year. Why not? At this point, it's not like baseball's going anywhere.
But and I think too, for the growth of the game, getting that average game time down, I think would be beneficial because I think it gives people the ability to hang in there more. Not when it's the game started at 7, it's 8:45, it's the top of the third. I mean, people, me and you can handle it, but
Right.
a lot of people can't.
I guess, dude.
I wish they just didn't ruin the game to begin with, right?
Yeah, right. Honestly, I don't care about other people.
No. But I all I'm saying is I just want to do everything possible to get back to the way baseball was played in the 80s, the 90s, really even the early 2000s with
steroids,
hitting and running. But they were, even with steroids, they were hitting and running. They were stealing bases.
Yeah.
So I just want to see that again.
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool. I'm excited to see if they do implement those types of rules because you said it'll definitely change the game and I would say appeal to definitely a younger demographic, which is what MLB lacks.
How many steals for Starling Marte this year?
Oh my God, dude!
34 years old though, isn't he?
31?
No.
32?
No, I think he's
Really?
34.
34? Really?
Hey, didn't he set it to a 4-year deal?
Yeah.
Wow, that's gonna be tough.
33.
All right.
I'll
Turning
take it,
34 though?
What?
Turning 34 this season?
October.
Well,
I mean, he'll be playing.
That'll
in
be
October.
next season.
That'll be next season. No. He'll be playing in October, dude.
Oh.
Stolen bases. I think he had like 50 the last season, dude.
50?
Let me look this up.
I mean, he seems more like a guy in mid-30s.
Stolen bases 2021. 47.
Fair enough.
54 this season.
No way.
Yes,
Struggle
way,
to get
dude.
30.
No shot.
and
Batted
I'm going to
310.
say Edwin Diaz, Tommy John by May 15th.
Really, Garrett Cole dead.
Carlos Carrasco bloated 7.5 ERA as closer.
Sounds about right. That I can agree with.
And Dylan Betances, comeback player of the year for the Yankees.
Oh my
So
God.
mark that
right.
one down. But anything else, Tony?
Aaron Judge free agency? Where'd he go? Where's he going?
Yankees 7 years, 210. Moderate. It doesn't need 300 million. 7 years, 210 is fine.
Okay.
But any other newsworthy items?
No. Got nothing right now, dude.
Michael, something's on the tip of your tongue. Zion?
Dinner?
Sakura?
Yeah. Colony. No, Nothing, actually.
I feel like it's a Colony every day call at this point.
At this point, I think we've been craving Colony, dude.
You still haven't got it.
We went there last week. Was it
Yeah.
last week? 2 weeks ago?
Last week.
Us two and Matt. Oh
Yeah.
my God, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
I
At
mean-
the bar, Michael was so excited.
Colony does it right.
They do.
What's the best beer pairing for a Colony pizza?
I think when I was there, they didn't have Schmiddix. Was it Schmiddix? PBR is when I get on
Yeah.
tap.
Yeah, I think we got PBR.
Yeah, that's what we
last
got
time.
last
Yeah.
time. Yeah, dude.
Good stuff though. Sure.
Yeah.
Just like today's show, like to thank everyone for tuning in. The great Renee over there on the couch, sticking with us. But everybody, I didn't even think about that.
No, you didn't.
Keep commenting, liking, and subscribing. Merch, downtimetv.com. Aliens Part 2 on the YouTube page, as well as Tony's face plastered all over it. Enjoy the games. We'll see you mañana.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing.